Welcome back, and this is the second video with respect to a contract of agency which is part of special contracts under Indian Contract Act 1872. As you guys are aware, there are three sets of contract which we are discussing under special contracts: indemnity, bailment and agency. And in case of agency, we already covered indemnity and guarantee and bailment and pledge in earlier videos, and in the previous video which is related to agency we already discussed key terms like a definition and then principles of agency and the difference between agent and servant and then creation of agency. All these points we discussed in previous video, and here we are here to discuss now two important aspects of agency. One is kinds of agent, what are the different types of agents we find in the contract of agency, and the second one is rights and duties of both agent and principal. Okay, I will not be dealing, I am not be discussing in this rights and duties in detail, just I read out few duties because we discussed all these things in length during the previous video and we are going to discuss in current video also. So, and then we will discuss in detail kinds of agents. Okay, so classification of agents, who are the different types of agents we find in the contract of agency. There are two kinds of agents. We can classify on the basis of extent of authority, the powers what they have, and on the basis of the nature of work they do it. Okay, on the basis of powers, right, the extent of authority what they have, we can classify them as special agent, general agent and universal agent. What is a special agent? Special agent is the one who is appointed to do some particular act or enter into some particular contract. For example, A wanted a property right, the property example whatever we discussed. So he approaches B and then B talks to third party. Okay, this is an example for special agent. He is appointed only for one transaction. After that, the agency ceases, right? Agency will not exist after this. Once A enters contract with the third party, so the contract between A and B also ends, correct? This is for a specific purpose or a particular act. That will be called as special agents. Next one is general agent, where general agent is the one who carries out broader range of transactions in the name or on behalf of principal. Broad range of transactions. For example, A is a manufacturer and his plant is in Mumbai and he is having 10 different products, product 1, product 2, product 3, product 4. So he appoints Mr. C or Mr. B in Bangalore, okay, in Bangalore to sell product 2 and product 3 and product 4 except product 1. So he is an agent for selling P1, P2, P3, P4, the broad range of transactions, not only restricted to 1 or 2. Okay, so general agent is something, some agent who performs broader range of activities, and it will be in the name of Mr. A, who is a principal. Okay, in the name of principal, he will be doing a broader range of activities instead of performing one single transaction and exit, and it will be continuing, right? It is not for one transaction. So you will be keep getting a material from A and then you will be keep selling it. It is not for only one transaction, it will be for keep continuous in nature. Now a similar kind, the general and then universal. There is a slight difference. The universal agent will do all the activities which principal can do. In case of general agent, he will be performing only a specific activities in case of general agent, he was doing entrusted for a broad range of activities, but not all the activities. In case of specific, it is restricted to one transaction or a one specific act. In case of broader, this is specific, and in case of a broader, he can, out of 10 items, he can deal with only 7 or one region of it or something. But in case of a universal, it is a, this is going to be a general. In case of universal, he can do all the activities whatever principal can do. Okay, whatever principal can lawfully do, the same thing can be done by universal agent. So he is whole and sole responsible for all the products of principal in all the regions. Okay, he is a universal agent there. Okay, so you will be having complete. So in movies you might have said, right, universal rights. So the entire right of a movie, whether it is for Europe or it is for India or it is for US, the entire right will be lies with one person. So whatever principal can do lawfully, that can be delegated to an agent. So that agent will be called as universal agent. Special agent, specific item, and then come across general agent who will be dealing with a broader range of activities. But in case of universal agent, all the activities whatever a principal can do, that can be done by agent, or that can be delegated to an agent. That kind of agent is called as universal agent. So on the basis of the power and the authority, there are 3 classifications. One is special, second one is general agent, and the third one is universal agent. And now moving to, on the basis of a nature of work, the kind of work they do it, right, based on that there are 2 classification further: commercial or a mercantile transaction, and then non-mercantile. Non-mercantile is something where it is not related to business, it is not a commercial in nature, every transaction which is not commercial in nature, husband and wife relationship, so those kind of things will come under non-commercial or a non-mercantile agency. But commercial or mercantile agencies are deals with a business, right? It is all deals with a business, to buying or selling of a goods or some services or any other things. Okay, those things will be called as commercial or mercantile. Okay, commercial or mercantile agents are further classified into factors, auctioneer, del credar, pakka and kacha adhitis, commission agent, and broker. Okay, let us discuss this one by one in detail. Who is a factor? Okay, factor is the one who possesses the goods. Okay, A, as we discussed in the previous example, is a manufacturer and he is based out of Mumbai. So his agent Mr. B is in Bangalore. So he is producing product 2, product 3 and product 4 and product 1. Out of this he will give all the products P2, P3 and P4 to B to sell it in a Bangalore region. Okay, so then B is going to sell it to parties, customers. Okay, so here B is an agent for A. So he will be holding the goods here in his possession. Whenever he distributes it to other agents, other customers, he will sell it to them. Correct? So this is a case where B holds the goods in his possession but not the ownership. Okay, he just holds the goods but not a possession, not a ownership. He just possess the goods and transfer it to a customer but not the ownership. The ownership always lies with the principal. Okay, clear guys? So person Mr. B or agent holds the goods for the purpose of sale. He holds the goods for the purpose of sale. Okay, what is the transaction? How it happens? A transfers the goods to B, but only the possession, not the ownership, and then B transfers all the things to other customers. Okay, and customers may directly pay to Mr. A here. He can sell it on credit and customer can pay directly to principal, and B gets some commission, right? Some reward like 2% or a 3% of this. In case if A fails to pay this reward or a remuneration, okay, in case if A fails to pay the remuneration, then agent has the right of general lien. What does it mean? General lien means he can hold or he can retain the goods. Unless he gets commission, he might stop selling to others and he can retain all the goods. He can retain all the goods with him. So 2 points important in case of factor. Factor is entrusted the possession of a goods for the sale of goods, and in case if principal fails to perform his duties, then agent can have a right of general lien where he can retain all the goods of the principal. These are the 2 important points with respect to a factor. Next, auctioneer. An auctioneer is an agent to sell the property in a public auction. You guys know auction, right? There will be an auctioneer, especially in case of antiques. In case of antiques, okay, one person will be appointed as an auctioneer, or you guys might have seen in IPL where auctions happen auction happens for IPL players. So take an example. Mr. A is having antique watch with him, like which is 200 years old. Okay, he want to sell it to a parties on auction, whoever bids for a higher amount. So then he approaches to auctioneer and says, boss, I want to sell this watch, can you please sell it in an auction? There will be invites sent to many people. They all come for an auction. Okay, X, Y, Z, P, Q, R. There will be many guys who will come for an auction, and then auctioneer is going to auction this particular watch. So whoever, like if X quotes 200 rupees, and then Q quotes 1000 rupees, it goes for a bidding, and then Z might quotes for 10,000 rupees. So whoever is the highest bidder, the auctioneer is going to sell it to those highest bidder. Here 10,000 rupees is the highest bidder, so he will sell it to Mr. Z. So this is a kind of an auctioneer. So in this case, auctioneer is an agent of a seller. Mr. A is principal here and auctioneer is an agent. When auction starts, at the time of starting of an auction, auctioneer is an agent of a principal A. But after that, once the auction is completed, where somebody bids for an higher amount, then this auctioneer also becomes an agent of this buyer. It is his duty to complete all the transactions on behalf of Z also, and also on behalf of E. So auctioneer is going to become an agent of buyer also at the end. At the time of starting of an auction, he will be an agent of only Mr. A, who is a seller, and at the time of ending of an auction, he will be agent of buyer also. So this auctioneer acts as an agent for both. Clear, guys? Auctioneer is the one who sells the goods at a public auction. Okay? And then del credor agent, as we discussed, right, in the case of A is in Mumbai, a manufacturer, sends its goods to B, who is an agent P2, P3 and P4, who is an agent here in Bangalore, and he is going to sell it to other customers, third party. And if third party has to pay amount to principal, but third party fails to pay amount, then what is going to happen? A has to fight a case with third party, not with B. Clear? Because B's job is only to sell it on a credit. But if purchaser, final customer, fails to pay the amount, then who is responsible? A has to sue third party and fight for it. Instead of that, B can take that responsibility. The agent can take that responsibility, that he will collect the money from third party and pay it to Mr. A. Okay, instead of third party paying directly to principal, agent can collect it from principal, collect money and pay it to principal, pay it to principal, pay it to principal. And if third party fails to pay it, if third party fails to pay it also, B takes the responsibility. Okay, B takes the responsibility. If third party fails, B will make a payment to A. He makes a payment here and then fight a case with third party. Clear, guys? In case of del creditor agent, B, the agent is not only selling the goods, he also takes the responsibility of a collection of a money. And if third party fails to pay the collection of a money, and then B is going to pay it. B is going to pay it to a principal and then he collects the money from third party by way of fighting in a court. Clear? So this is a del creditor. These kind of agents are called as a del creditor. For doing this additional service of a guarantor, so he will be called as a, so he will be taking additional remuneration or a commission for additional charges. Okay, some extra charges. See, normally you get some commission for selling of a goods, sale of a goods, right? And also plus in case of a del creditor, you will also take the additional charges, additional commission for being a surety. So the relationship of a B here is like a surety. Okay, in case of guarantee, in a special contract of guarantee, we learned who is a surety. So B is acting like a surety here. Okay, he is a guarantor. Okay, so B, in case of any, if a third party fails to pay, he is going to make a payment to principal. Okay, so he is playing a role of a B. It was, like take a case of Champa Ram versus Tulsi Ram. In this particular case, it was held that in Allahabad court, it was held that del creditor agent's liability is of a secondary liability. So del creditor's liability comes only if third party fails to pay it. So the first liability here is for third party, and this liability is similar to a surety. Okay. Case of Champaram versus Tulsi Ram in Allahabad High Court, it was held that del creditor agent's liability is of secondary in nature and similarly, and it is similar to a surety. Okay. For this, del creditor agent is going to charge extra commission. Clear, guys? Okay. Next one, Pakka and Kacha Adat is commission agent and broker. All the three are similar in nature with a slight differences. Okay, few authors clubbed everybody into one as a broker. Okay, few authors have given it as a separate. Okay, we will see in a detail about each of these three items in okay. In a contract of sale, right, or in contract of purchase, in a contract of sale, so A is here. He wants to do certain activities. Say for example, he wants to buy 20 kgs of rice. Sorry, like 100 kgs of rice. Then he entrusts the work to Mr. B. Okay, and in this case, the responsibility of B will be limited to get only a quotation for 100 kgs of rice from 5 suppliers. So B talked to 5 suppliers, supplier 1, supplier 2, supplier 3 and supplier 4, and talk to them, negotiate with them and get the quotations. So he will not be there in a contract till the end of the contract. So his job ends only once he gets the quotation for Mr. A. Mr. A reviews and he may go with a contract with only supplier 4. Okay, the job of a B is just to get quotation for the product, whatever A is asking, and the rest all will be taken care by principal. So these kind of agents are called as Pakka Adatis or Kacha Adatis, Pakka and Kacha Adatis. They will not be there till the end of the contract. He ceases to be an agent and assumes towards his constituent the character of a principal. Okay, so he seizes, his responsibility is going to be seizes, and all these things will be, the rest of the actions will be taken care by a principal. Okay, this is what we discussed, and for this he will charge certain commission. Okay guys, this is on Pakka and Kacha Adatis. Then commission agent. Commission agent is a one who sells the goods for commission and on his own name. So he is here and the agent is here, and then we have third parties. Okay, in this case normally B sells on behalf of A, but here commission agent is going to sell on his own name. Okay, so he is like a sole owner, like he takes all the material from Mr. A and adds his commission and then sells it. So any contractual other things, B is going to be responsible. He is going to sell it on his own name. And in case of a broker, okay, in case of a broker, the broker role is very simple. He will not be holding any goods with him. Okay, he will not be holding any goods with him. A entrusts B for a properties, property purchase. So he talks to a third party. In this case, B is acting like a broker because he is not holding any goods here, right? So he just connects these two parties and makes them to enter into a contract. So he will be there till the end of the contract, but he will not be holding any property in his name. He will not be having any possession of goods. No possession of goods. Okay, just he will be there in a contract from beginning to an end and make sure that a principal and third party gets into a contract. So this kind of contracts would be called as a broker, and for that he will charge some commission. Correct? So factors, auctioneer, factors where he holds the goods with him, where he receives the goods and sells it. Auctioneer who is going to auction the product in a public, and then del creditor along with the sales of a goods, he will own the liability, collection of a debt from a third party. He owns that. And in case of Pakka Kachaditis, the role is very limited here. They will be helping principal to get some quotations or some part of the contract they are helping, but they will not be there till the end. Commission agent who sells the goods on behalf of a principal but on his own name, and broker is the one who helps for establishing a contract between a principal and third party, but he won't possess any goods. Okay, these are the different kinds of, or a classification of agents, okay, on the basis of authority and then on the basis of nature of work. So far whatever we discussed, it is on the basis of nature of work, where they are classified as a commercial or mercantile agents who deals with the business activities. Commercial or a mercantile agents are one who deals with the business activities. Okay, factors, auctioneer, del creditor, package, Pakka and Kacha, that is commission agents and brokers. Okay, then brief about non-mercantile agents. Who are non-mercantile agents? Non-mercantile is a non-commercial kind of a thing. Non-commercial thing where whenever wife serves some actions, right? And then insurance agents, legal duties by lawyers, financial duties by bankers. Here there is no need of a goods, right? There will not be any goods here. Business, there will be a business element, but there will not be any goods involved in this. Technical duties of an engineer. All these things are non-mercantile agent. Okay, no goods here. Here only a services comes into picture. Here it is purely based on a goods and additional services related to that. Okay guys, so non-mercantile agents are these wife, insurance agents, legal duties by lawyers, financial duties of a banker, technical duties of an engineer. With this, we will move to next topic, duties of an agent. As I said in the beginning of our presentation, I just read out these points. Okay, what is the first duty? Perform all the duty according to the direction given by the principal. Clear? To carry out work with a reasonable care, skill and diligence. You should do all the activities with a reasonable care, skill and diligence. In case of any difficulty, it is a duty of an agent to talk to principal. In case of any difficulty, it is a duty of agent to talk to principal. And whatever the sum received on behalf of the principal, he has to pay it. Whenever he sells the goods on credit, and after that if he make a collections on behalf of the principal, so then he has to deposit it back. To protect and preserve the interest of the principal in the case of his death or insolvency. In case of a principal's death, whatever is due to him, he has to give it back to their heirs. Okay, so to protect that interest of the principal in case of his death or in case of insolvency. And agent should not make any secret profit. It is his duty to follow the directions. If he agreed that he will charge 20% as a commission on a sale of goods, so that's fine. Like he should not, over and above, he should not make any secret profits from the agency. Everything should be black and white. Principal and agent must be knowing what agent is doing, and there should not be any secret profit. And not to set up an adverse title. So always in case of agency, the product is owned by A, the ownership is owned by A. So he should not try to play with the title of the goods. So always the goods transfer from principal to the third party. Okay, the ownership and possession both. But in agent is there, the only possession transfers here. Always the title will be with principal. And not to delegate. Important point here. Normally the agent should perform his duty directly with the third parties. He should not delegate it to anyone. There is a concept called sub-agent. If there is a general agent who is dealing with a multiple products, based on the agreement, he can appoint a sub-agent. Agent can appoint a sub-agent with the consent of principal. Unless if there is no agreement from the principal, then agent should not delegate his work. It is a duty of an agent. So whatever the information he gets during the course of the agency, he should not use against the principal. If he comes to know some facts about the product and all these things, right, he should not misuse that information against the principal. Okay, during the agency, he comes to know what is the mixture, what is, how they are marketing, what is the product mix, what, everything. If he comes to know all these facts, right, he should not disclose it to an outsider about all those secrets of the business. So he should not disclose the secrets of the business, whatever he comes to know during the course of agency. So this is a duty of these are the duties of an agent. What are the duties of principal? Okay, whenever if agent is performing his duty as per a law, and if agent suffers some losses, then he has to indemnify. Okay, whenever agent suffers some losses, that should be fulfilled by, that should be made good by principal. And whenever agent suffers some losses, when agent does the act in a good faith, in good faith agent has done some acts, and then if he suffers some losses, that also should be indemnified by principal. And while performing the act as per the directions of the principal, if agent suffers some injury, in that case also it is a duty of a principal to indemnify the agent. And the important duty with respect to principal is to pay the agent commission and other remunerations agreed. Okay, so there will be a commission for sale of goods, some other remuneration for taking the liability on their head, or it is a margin based, or like it is a sales based commission, whatever, right? Whatever they have agreed, it is a duty of a principal to repay this particular commission and remuneration. So the four major duties of a principal: one is indemnify against lawful objects, indemnify against the loss resulted when the act is done in good faith, indemnify the agent for injury caused, and then pay the commission or other remuneration which are agreed. Okay, so last point of this particular topic: contract of agency, agent and principal. Okay, who is the agent? What is the rights of an agent? He can be a retainer. He can be a retainer. It is a right, means he can retain sum of money whatever collected from third parties. Okay, he can retain all the money, retain sum of money. Okay, we can call it like it, right to retain sum of money, whatever he has collected from third party, he can retain it till he gets his commission, or other remuneration or other losses whatever he has suffered. So till the time he gets his remuneration, commission or a losses, so he can retain the money whatever is collected from third party. And at the same time, the right of a lien. In case of right of retained money, he will be holding the money. Here, in case of a right of lien, he will be retaining the goods. Whatever goods is in his hand, he can, like in case of a factor, right? Factor will be having the goods in his hand, so he can retain that goods. Right to remuneration, so he can ask the agent anytime for all his remuneration, and in case of when he does an act with a lawful acts and good faith, he is having a right to indemnify himself from principal. So right to indemnify, right to remuneration, right of lien, and right of retain sum of money. These are the rights of an agent. And then what are the rights of principal? Okay, the principal's right, one is to repudiate contract under section 215. If any agent performs certain activities and which is against the contract of the agency, like if he performs all the actions against his own name, right? The agency contract always says that you should act on behalf of principal, right? But without the consent, if a agent tries to perform duties on his own name, then principal can repudiate the contract, or he can cancel or reject. Okay, he can cancel or reject the contract. And then to claim the benefit, if agent is earning secret profit, right? Normally it is a duty of an agent not to earn any secret profit. So if a principal comes to know that agent is making some additional benefit, so then it is a right of a principal to claim those benefits also. Whatever the secret profit made, he can take a percentage of that, or he might take the entire amount. It is a right of the principal to claim those additional benefits. And the right to ratify or disown agent's act. Okay, it is a point, right? If agent P is appointed to take care of a Bangalore region, but he sells his product in Hyderabad region. Okay, actual contract says he should work only in a Bangalore region. So then the B might also sell in Hyderabad region. What is going to happen this? So this is not authorized, right? It is an unauthorized transaction. In this case, the option is with the principal. He can authorize it. We discussed in the classification of a contract, he can authorize it, he can ratify it. It is his option. Okay, principal can ratify, he can accept it, he can authorize it. Otherwise he can disown. Okay, he can disown that. Whatever third party faces some challenges with the product, principal is not liable. Okay, so if agent goes beyond his power, in that case it is a principal's decision whether to ratify or disown this particular act of an agent. Clear guys? We discussed about creation of agency by ratification. To revoke agent's authority, in case if agent is doing some acts which is not as per the agreement, he can revoke the agent's authority. And then to claim loss or profit. Okay, a principal is also having right if any loss is caused to him because of a unlawful act of a agent, then it is a right of a principal to claim all the losses from that particular agent. If any that kind of a loss is because of a neglect of an agent or some misconduct of the agent, on all these cases the agent principal can claim his loss from a agent. And then to demand accounts, any time the principal can talk to the agent and look for and ask for an accounts, how many goods he has sold and all the details he can collect it from a agent. And then in case if agent has done some misconduct, he can refuse to remunerate the agent. Okay, in case of a misconduct, it is a right of a principal to refuse the remuneration, okay, of a agent. These are the rights of a principal: repudiate the contract, claim benefit, ratify or disown agent's act, to revoke agent's authority, to claim loss of profit, or to demand accounts, and then to refuse remuneration. These are the rights of principal. Okay guys, that's it from a contract of agency, and I request you to please subscribe my channel. Thank you.